Hey guys and gals, so in this next video we'll continue our study of polynomials. This time we're going to focus on multiplication a little bit more in depth, and specifically we're going to talk about how to multiply binomials. And then once we talk about that a little bit, we'll talk about how to multiply binomials and trinomials at the same time. So the last video we looked at multiplication, but we were looking at how to multiply a monomial times a polynomial. Well, anytime you're multiplying two polynomials, specifically two polynomials each that have two or more terms, the process is always going to be the same. You're going to use the distributive property, and you're going to distribute each term of the first polynomial to each term of the second polynomial. Okay, so every term of the first polynomial gets multiplied by every term of the second polynomial. So a good example of this is number 1. We have the binomial 5x minus 3 times the binomial 2x plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to start out with this term 5x here. I'm going to distribute it to the 2x first. 5x times 2x is 10x squared. And then I'm going to distribute it to the positive 1. 5x times 1 is positive 5x. But then I also have a negative 3 in this first binomial. So now I need to go to the negative 3, I need to distribute it as well. So I'm going to take the negative 3 times this 2x. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. And then I'm going to take the negative 3 times the positive 1. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. So you can see here that I've multiplied every term by every term. 5x got multiplied by 2x and 1. Negative 3 got multiplied by 2x and 1. Okay, so I've done a total of 4 multiplications. And now I'm going to simplify what I have here by combining like terms. So my 10x squared has no like terms to go along with it. I can just bring it down. My 5x and my negative 6x can combine to a negative 1x, or just negative x. My negative 3 has nothing to combine with it, so it also gets brought down. So your simplified polynomial, again we're putting these in standard form, is 10x squared minus x minus 3. One thing I want to point out to you is that anytime you're multiplying two binomials, you're oftentimes going to hear the acronym FOIL to help you along with this process. Okay, this is sort of a made-up acronym that math teachers came up with many moons ago. Okay, that I know you're going to hear beyond my class if you ever take Algebra 1 again or Algebra 2 with another teacher in high school. They're oftentimes going to be probably using this acronym FOIL here. It's just a made-up phrase to help you remember how to distribute. Okay, it's not a technical math term, but it's something that's used often enough in math classes that I'm going to bring it up here. And what it stands for is this. Okay, it stands for first, outer, inner, last. And it's just a way to remember to multiply each of your terms when you're multiplying two binomials. Okay, if you look back here up in example 1, the first thing we did was we multiplied the first terms in both of our binomials. 5x and 2x were our first terms. Okay, then we multiplied our outer terms, which were the 5x and the positive 1. The next thing we did was multiplied our inner terms, negative 3 and 2x, and then finally we multiplied our last terms, negative 3 and positive 1. Okay, so if you think about distributing, you're going to be able to do this every single time no matter what, but this is just another way that some teachers like to help you remember how to multiply binomials, is by using this acronym FOIL. So looking at the next couple of examples, we're going to practice this concept a little bit more. This time we have the quantity 2y minus 3 times the quantity y plus 2. So I'm going to start out with my 2y, and I'm going to distribute it to the y first of all. So these are my first terms. 2y times y is 2y squared. And then I'll distribute the 2y to the 2. These are my outer terms. 2y times 2 is positive 4y. Then I'll jump to this negative 3, which is my next term on my first binomial. Negative 3 times y, which are my inner terms, is negative 3y. And then I need to distribute the negative 3 to the 2. These are my last terms. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. So now I'll go ahead and I'll bring down my 2y squared. I'll combine my positive 4y and my negative 3y. That's going to give me a positive 1y, or just plus y, and then I'll bring down my minus 6. So your simplified polynomial for this one is 2y squared plus y minus 6. At this time, I want you to pause the video and try number 3 on your own. Once you're done with that, click play to check your answer. Okay, so for this one, you should have distributed 4x to both 3x and minus 6. If you did that correctly, you should have gotten 12x squared minus 24x. And then after that, distributed the negative 2 to 3x and negative 6. And that would have given you negative 6x plus 12. So combine your like terms in the middle, and in the end, you get 12x squared minus 30x plus 12. Okay, finally, let's move on to these examples on the back. This time, instead of multiplying two binomials, I'm going to be multiplying a binomial times a trinomial. So for number 4, we have 2x minus 7 times the quantity 3x squared plus x minus 5. Again, we're going to do the same process. We're distributing every term in the first polynomial to every term in the second polynomial. So I'm going to start out with my 2x. I'm going to take 2x times 3x squared. This will give me 6x cubed. Then I take 2x times positive x. This gives me a plus 2x squared. And then 2x times negative 5 would be minus 10x. Next, I'm going to go to my negative 7, distribute it to each term in my second polynomial. Negative 7 times 3x squared is minus 21x squared. Negative 7 times positive x is just a minus 7x. And negative 7 times negative 5 is going to give us a positive 35. So notice if you have a binomial times a trinomial, 2-term times a 3-term, you're going to be doing a total of 6 multiplications. Okay, 3 here for the 2x, and then 3 here for the negative 7. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to identify my like terms. 6x cubed is going to be all by itself, so I'll just bring that down. 2x squared, I can go ahead and combine with my negative 21x squared over here. That's going to give me a negative 19x squared. Negative 10x, I can combine with my negative 7x. That will give me a minus 17x. And then finally, my positive 35, I can go ahead and just bring that one down. And so my answer becomes 6x cubed minus 19x squared minus 17x plus 35. I'd like you to pause the video, jump down to number 5, try this one on your own, and then once you have an answer, click play to check that, please. Okay, for number 5 here, go ahead and check, first of all, your distribution on the 6n, so that's what I have here in blue. If you distributed that correctly, you should have 12n cubed plus 6n squared plus 42n. And then check your distribution on the negative 8. If you did that correctly, you should have minus 16n squared minus 8n minus 56. And so when you combine your like terms correctly, you get a negative 10n squared and then a plus 34n in the middle, and then you just needed to bring down your 12n cubed and your minus 56. Okay, number 6, we're going to be doing, again, the same thing, except this time I put the trinomial first and the binomial second. So we're just going to be starting out with the 3x squared, and we're only going to be distributing it twice. Okay, first of all, to the 2x over here, 3x squared times 2x is 6x cubed. And then 3x squared times 7 is 21x squared. Okay, then I'm going to be going to my negative 2x, and I'll be distributing it twice. First of all, to the positive 2x. Negative 2x times positive 2x is minus 4x squared. And then to the 7, that's going to give us a minus 14x. And then finally, my positive 3, distribute that to 2x. 3x times 2x is 6x. And then 3 times 7 would give me 21. So again, I'm doing 6 multiplications. I'm distributing each term in my trinomial here twice. So that gives me 6 total terms down here, and I'm now going to combine my like terms. I can bring down my 6x cubed because it won't combine with anything. My 21x squared here will combine with my minus 4x squared to give me a plus 17x squared. I have a negative 14x here. that I can combine with my positive 6x. That will give me a minus 8x. And then finally my positive 21, I can just bring that down for plus 21. Okay, finally for number 7, I want you to once again pause the video, try that one on your own, and then once you think you have an answer, click play to check it. So for this last one here, I distributed 12w squared first twice. If you did that correctly, you should have gotten 48w cubed minus 24w squared. Then you're distributing your negative w. That gives you negative 4w squared plus 2w. And then finally your negative 1 gives you negative 4w plus 2. You combine your like terms, you end up getting a negative 28w squared, and then a minus 2w in the middle, 48w cubed, and positive 2 come down just like they are, and this should be your final answer. And you know the drill. If you have any questions, feel free to rewind and rewatch parts of this again. You're always welcome to write those questions down or shoot me an email, and I'll address those in class the next time I see you. And until that time, have a nice day. You're all wonderful people. Take care.